The Manson crater in Iowa was formed by one of the biggest impacts that has ever occurred in the United States. Today, the crater is the most famous impact site on Earth and a very popular tourist attraction. However, at first, people did not realize that this crater was made by an asteroid. In the 1950s, Eugene Shoemaker discredited the theories that the Manson crater was formed by volcanic activity or by an underground steam explosion. He theorized that it instead was formed by an impact from space. Even though many asteroids are identified, we still cannot predict a collision. Asteroids are nearly impossible to track. There are constantly over 100 million asteroids larger than 10 meters crossing Earth's orbit, all traveling on different courses and at different rates. It is also theorized that 2,000 asteroids that are big enough to threaten civilized existence regularly cross our orbit. A life-devastating asteroid has crashed into the Earth before. 65 million years ago, dinosaurs and about half of the world's other species vanished from fossil record. This was proved by Walter Alvarez, Luis Alvarez, and Frank Azzaro. They confirmed that the KT boundary, a thin layer of reddish clay that divided two layers of limestone, was formed by a layer of space dust that was more than 300 times the amount Earth normally accumulated every year. If a meteorite of the same size hit Earth today, we wouldn't be able to see it until it was 1 second away from impact. It would vaporize everything in its path, and after impact, the meteor itself would vaporize. In the following few minutes, the area around the impact zone, roughly the size of the Midwest, would either be flattened or on fire. Projectiles would fly to places up to 1,000 miles from the crater. The aftershock of the impact would cause even more destruction. Volcanoes would erupt, tsunamis would rise, and a cloud of darkness would block the sun for months, maybe even years. About 12 million years ago, Yellowstone National Park erupted. Its eruption was so huge that its volcanic ash spread 1,000 miles away to eastern Nebraska and formed a layer 10 feet deep. The air in this area was filled with ash, which all of the animals were then forced to breathe, and because the water in the watering hole became undrinkable from the ash, the animals slowly died. By studying seismograph readings from earthquakes, geologist R. D. Oldham deducted that the Earth has a core, and 3 years later, seismologists named Andrija Mohorovic discovered the mantle. Then Charles Richter and Benno Gutenberg invented the Richter scale in order to measure the force of earthquakes and compare them. The most intense earthquake recorded was in Lisbon, Portugal, on November 1st, 1755, with a magnitude of 9.0. It lasted for 17 minutes, and it resulted in a tsunami 50 feet high. 60,000 people died. Earthquakes can happen everywhere, although they tend to occur around the rim of the Pacific. Earthquakes commonly occur where tectonic plates meet. This occurs because the plates push against each other, causing pressure to build, and as time goes on, the longer the plates push against each other, the more forceful the earthquake will be. Intraplate quakes are another type of earthquake. These quakes are rare, but they can happen at any place and at any time. These quakes are very powerful. For example, in New Madrid, Missouri, there were 3 quakes that caused the land to roll in waves 3 feet high and for the ground to crack several feet deep. No series of intraplate quakes have been known to occur in the same place twice. Although we know little about the Earth's layers, we do know that the Earth's interior is fluid enough to move not only laterally but also up and down through a process called convection. We also know that Earth's magnetic field is generated from the convecting fluids in the outer core. In the past century, the magnetic field has diminished by 6%. The cause of these changes are unknown. This decrease can be very dangerous to the Earth because without the Earth's magnetic field, space's dangerous cosmic rays would tear through our bodies. There has been little effort to connect the effects of what happens inside the Earth to what happens on the surface. This is demonstrated through the volcanic eruption of St. Helen. On March 20th, 1980, St. Helen started rumbling. Everyone was evacuated to a supposed safe distance of 8 miles, and based off of studies of Hawaiian volcanoes, most seismologists believed that the eruption would not be that dangerous. St. Helen erupted on May 18th with the force of 500 Hiroshima-sized bombs. It killed 57 people, some as far as 18 miles away. There are 2 types of volcanoes. The first type of volcano is formed quickly from its erupting magma into a tall symmetrical mound, and the second type erupts with so much force that it leaves a small pit named a caldera. Yellowstone caldera spans 2.2 million acres, about 40 miles, and covers the whole park. Yellowstone is a supervolcano, and it is located on a superplume, a magma chamber that is about 45 miles long and about 8 miles thick. This superplume is the only one that is located under a continental plate and not in the ocean. Unlike other supervolcanoes, Yellowstone blows explosively instead of bubbling steadily. Yellowstone erupts about every 600,000 years, and the last eruption was about 630,000 years ago. No one knows how big the next Yellowstone eruption will be. In addition, there is no recognizable warning signs to know if Yellowstone will erupt. Normal warning signs for volcanic eruptions, such as earthquakes or changes in geyser eruption patterns, would not be viable because these events already occur in Yellowstone. It may be thousands of years before Yellowstone erupts, and some even speculate that it will never erupt due to new evidence showing the magma chamber cooling and crystallizing. There are many more dangers at Yellowstone, such as earthquakes, hydrothermal explosions, and rockfalls. Yellowstone is located in a big fault zone for earthquakes, so a large quake is inevitable. On August 17, 1959, there was an earthquake with a magnitude of 7.5, which caused 80 million tons of rock to slide down a mountain at 400 miles per hour, killing 28 campers at the park. Hydrothermal explosions happen when a new geyser or hot spring opens. These can happen at any time or place without warning and create a hole anywhere from just a few meters wide to a few miles wide. Rockfalls do occur at Yellowstone, but not very often. There is a rock with visible cracks in it located above one of the busy park roads. It could fall at any time onto the constant flow of unsuspecting visitors. These events at Yellowstone are not very common, but they always are possibilities.